You're listening to the Ordinary Vegan Podcast, where we teach you everything you need to know about adopting a plant-based diet full or part-time. Our goal is to empower you to live a long and healthy life. You can find today's show at ordinaryvegan.net or on iTunes. If you have any questions, please send an email to questions@ordinaryvegan.net.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Ordinary Vegan Podcast, number 48. If we haven't met, I am Nancy Montori, and I advocate a plant-based diet for health and wellness, for the environment, and for animal welfare. As many of you know, I try to do everything in my power to keep you informed and provide you with all the tools, information, and recipes you need for your plant-based journey. Today, I want to talk about some memory-boosting foods and some new groundbreaking studies released in 2018. But first, I want to get some bad news out of the way. This past August, after testing an abundance of oat-containing breakfast foods, the Environmental Working Group, also known as the EWG, found that 43 product samples made with conventionally grown oats contained glyphosate. If you're not familiar with glyphosate, it is a herbicide and it is applied to the leaves of plants to kill weeds. Glyphosate is one of the most widely used herbicides in the United States. Glyphosate is the main ingredient of Monsanto's Roundup brand used to kill weeds. Monsanto introduced glyphosate-based Roundup back in 1974, but it is only now, after more than 44 years of widespread use, that scientific studies are showing that glyphosate is toxic to human cells. Based on these scientific studies, a judge and jury awarded a $289 million judgment against Monsanto for causing Dwayne Johnson's cancer. Dwayne Johnson sprayed Roundup at his job as a pest control manager at a San Francisco Bay Area school district. He was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2014 at the age of 42. In October, a California judge cut the award to $78 million, but upheld the verdict that glyphosate caused Mr. Johnson's cancer. Studies have also found that people who are sick have higher levels of glyphosate in their bodies than healthy people. Recently, a number of studies have demonstrated the relationship between gut microbiota and behavioral changes. And glyphosate-based herbicides have been shown to induce behavioral impairments. The data concluded that chronic exposure to glyphosate induced an increase in anxiety and depression-like behaviors. I am not blaming glyphosate for the rash of violence here in the United States, but it does make me pause and think, is the increase in the mental health crisis connected to eating glyphosate? The sad part is that it is really hard to avoid consuming glyphosate. As I mentioned earlier, the Environmental Working Group recently tested 28 Quaker Oats and Cheerio products and detected glyphosate in every single sample. Notably, the highest level of glyphosate was found in Quaker oatmeal squares, which contain 2,837 parts per billion, which is nearly 18 times higher for what is healthy for children. The EWG president, Ken Cook, said in a statement, "If General Mills and Quaker refuse to remove glyphosate from children's cereals, then the companies should at least let parents know how much of this toxic weed killer they may be feeding their kids. In other words, label it. So how can you avoid glyphosate entirely? I'm not certain you can anymore, but try to eat organic as much as you can. In order to receive organic certification, food producers cannot knowingly spray food with pesticides such as glyphosate. Unfortunately, glyphosate use is so rampant that the herbicide may contaminate food that isn't directly sprayed, including organic crops. Another way to avoid foods with glyphosate is to skip all prepared foods like bread, muffins, crackers, and cookies. Try to never purchase non-organic foods known to have high levels of glyphosate. The biggest offenders are vegetables, carrots, or corn oil. Also, non-organic lentils, chickpeas, pea products, beets, beet sugar, corn, and beer. As I mentioned in an earlier podcast, even if a product says non-GMO, that doesn't mean the product doesn't contain glyphosate. Now, on to some good news studies. In previous podcasts, I have talked about studies linking blueberries to many health benefits, including brain function and improving memory. But a new body of research suggests that eating blueberries and grapes together showed a dramatic decline in memory loss and aging. The study was published in July 2018 by an international team of researchers from Bordeaux and Quebec. The team studied 215 people aged 60 to 70. It was a placebo-controlled, double-blind, randomized clinical study that lasted 6 months. In that period, a random group of subjects received a polyphenol-rich extract of grapes and blueberries, while others received a placebo. The group who received the grapes and blueberries were already showing cognitive decline. When the research concluded, they discovered that the individuals who performed at the level of an 83-year-old at the beginning of the study scored like a 70-year-old after 6 months on the polyphenol-rich extract from grapes and blueberries. Blueberries have always been in the top 10 of memory-boosting foods, but what this study proved was that when grapes and blueberries are combined, your memory improves. Another study was performed on mice. That study also showed that combining blueberry and grape polyphenols prevented learning and memory deficits caused by aging. Therefore, I would recommend to anyone concerned about memory loss and cognitive problems to include a mix of dark red grapes and blueberries into their diet every day. There are many simple ways to eat more grapes and blueberries together, and it could be as simple as a smoothie. Just blend together 1 cup of non-dairy milk, 1 banana, 1 cup of blueberries, and a half a cup of red or black grapes. Or I came up with some memory-boosting muffins. Healthy muffins are a wonderful grab-and-go snack, especially when you freeze them individually. So let's go into Ordinary Vegan's kitchen and make some easy-to-prepare gluten-free grape blueberry muffins. All you need to do is preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. In a medium bowl, combine 2 cups of gluten-free flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 cup of blueberries, and a half a cup of red or purple grapes cut in thirds. In another bowl, combine 3/4 cup of vegan plain yogurt, 2 flax eggs, and a half a cup of maple syrup. Fold the wet mixture into the dry mixture until it is well combined. Put that batter into a greased muffin tray and place it in the oven. Bake for approximately 25 to 30 minutes or until a toothpick inserted comes out dry. Set aside to cool slightly. Easy peasy. Now, let's discuss leafy greens. I know I talk often about how important leafy greens are to consume on a daily basis. And now there is even more scientific evidence that the consumption of leafy green vegetables is associated with a slower rate of cognitive decline. Researchers from the Memory and Aging Project followed 960 participants over 5 years. The team focused on the level of consumption of green leafy vegetables like spinach, collard greens, kale, and lettuce. The average age of the participants was 81 years old, and all were dementia-free at the beginning of the study. Over 5 years, participants underwent an annual array of tests that assessed episodic memory, working memory, and semantic memory. When the study was over, they discovered that people who consumed 3 servings a day of leafy greens had significantly slower cognitive decline. Not only that, the rate of cognitive decline among those who ate 3 servings of leafy greens a day was the equivalent to being 11 years younger cognitively. Now, if that doesn't convince you to eat your leafy greens, I don't know what will. The next memory-boosting study I want to discuss involves beet juice and exercise. A number of studies have shown that physical activity can have positive effects on the brain, particularly as we age. But new research has found that it may be possible to improve these effects simply by drinking beetroot juice before exercising. The study showed that drinking beetroot juice boosts your stamina and could help you exercise up to 16% longer. Why? Because drinking beetroot juice raises nitric oxide levels in your body, which leads to a reduction in oxygen uptake, making exercise less tiring. In addition to that, a compound in beets that give the vegetable its distinctive red color could help slow the accumulation of misfolded proteins in the brain. Misfolded proteins is a hallmark feature in dementia and Alzheimer's disease. You can buy beet juice just like you buy orange or apple juice, or you can make your own by roasting beets in the oven until they are fork tender. Then puree them in a food processor. Other foods linked to brain power and improved memory include turmeric. In 2018, a new UCLA study said that the curcumin in turmeric can improve memory. The researchers tested the compound on 40 adults aged between 51 and 84, all of whom had mild memory problems. For a total of 18 months, the participants were put into 2 groups. One group took curcumin twice daily, while the other group took a placebo. All participants underwent standard cognitive tests, and these were repeated every 6 months throughout the study, as well as at the end. Results revealed that the subjects who took curcumin twice daily demonstrated a 28% improvement in memory tests over the course of the study, while those who took the placebo showed no significant memory improvements. It was also suggested as a possible reason that senior citizens in India, where curcumin is a dietary staple, have a lower prevalence of Alzheimer's disease and better cognitive performance. I recommend a half teaspoon a day. You can add it to a stir fry, soups, and even tea. The next food item is broccoli. I know I go on and on about broccoli, but broccoli is a source of two crucial nutrients that help improve brain function, and that's vitamin K and choline. The essential role of vitamin K in cognitive function has been known for more than 40 years. There is evidence that vitamin K intake can improve cognitive function in older adults. One study showed that vitamin K was associated with better verbal episodic memory. Kale, collard greens, spinach, and Brussels sprouts all contain considerable amounts of vitamin K. The other nutrient, choline, has been tied to a sharper memory, and people who get plenty of choline in their diets may perform better on memory tests. Legumes, sunflower seeds, and other cruciferous vegetables also contained this essential nutrient. I recommend a half cup cooked or 1 cup raw every day. Next up are pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds contain powerful antioxidants that protect the body and brain from free radical damage. They are also an excellent source of magnesium. Magnesium is essential for learning and memory. Pumpkin seeds are also manganese rich, which can help with anxiety. I recommend eating pumpkin seeds before a big test, and I also recommend keeping them in your car or purse as a healthy, memory-boosting, anxiety-relieving snack. Next up, green tea. We've talked about green tea before. Green tea boosts brain function by improving alertness, memory, and focus. It is rich in polyphenols that can protect the brain from mental decline. Last up is avocado. Avocado contains both vitamin K and folate. Avocados can help improve cognitive function, especially memory and concentration. According to a study published in the Journal of Nutrients, consuming daily a fresh avocado, a nutrient-rich, cholesterol-free fruit with naturally good fats, may help boost cognitive function that may include working memory and problem-solving skills in elderly people. Now, let's talk about foods that may induce memory loss and increase the risk of Alzheimer's. Unfortunately, the foods that can increase our risk of memory loss are common staples in the American diet. Foods like white bread, processed meat, and cheese have all been linked to Alzheimer's disease. I would also like to mention microwave popcorn. Microwave popcorn can contain a chemical called diacetyl. As far back as 2011, a study found that this popcorn ingredient, diacetyl, is linked with Alzheimer's. This chemical can increase something called amyloid plaques. Amyloid plaques are found in the brains of patients with Alzheimer's disease. This chemical has also been linked to a lung ailment in popcorn plant workers. Most butter-flavored microwave popcorn companies have removed it or reduced the amounts, but some have not. There are other reasons not to use microwave popcorn. The bag almost all microwave popcorn varieties come in is lined with perfluoroalkylic acid, PFOA. I believe I've spoken about that in other podcasts. That is the same toxic chemical found in Teflon, and the EPA lists this substance as a carcinogen. I recommend you make your popcorn from scratch and avoid all these health hazards. Well, hope all these memory-boosting tips help you. To learn more about brain health and memory-boosting foods, listen to my podcast number 35, Brain Disease Symptoms, Prevention, and Growing Brain Cells, and podcast number 3, The Connection Between a Healthy Gut and Mental Health. Before I exit, I want to announce that I just got in my first batch of vegan CBD pain cream made from organic hemp. This has been 2 years in the making, and it is already getting rave reviews. Here is one of those. I received the package from Ordinary Vegan. It's her new vegan CBD pain cream. My hands were in a lot of pain, and I could not bend my fingers. I applied some, and within about 35 minutes, I could bend them, and the pain was gone. I used it sparingly, but massaged it in good, but gingerly. I love the color and the smell. It doesn't smell medicinal. Thanks, Lee. Well, thank you, Lee, for the feedback. Always remember, all CBD products are not created equal. My goal is to provide you with a safe, high-quality vegan CBD. I believe plants have the power to change lives, and I hope my CBD from hemp can help you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Just write to me at questions@ordinaryvegan. You can find my new pain cream and all my CBD products at ordinaryvegan.net. Thanks, everyone, for being here. For those of you on the 21-day clean whole foods diet, I hope it's going well. I have already messed up and ate some processed vegan food, so I'm going to try again on December 1st. If you get a chance, head over to facebook.com/ordinaryvegan to join our health and wellness community, which is over 315,000 strong. And join our private group on Facebook at facebook.com/group/ordinaryvegan. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please write a review and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a podcast. You can find all the links to today's recipes and studies in my show notes on my website at ordinaryvegan.net. Always remember, every plant-based meal you consume not only impacts your health, it also impacts humanity on a global scale. You are making a difference. Till next time.
Thanks for joining our plant-based community today. Together, we can accomplish great things. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of Ordinary Vegan's recipes and plant-based tips. If you have any questions or feedback, email us at questions@ordinaryvegan.net. Until next time.